So we are looking at the trials of Jesus, and we've slowed down a little bit in our study because these chapters are so important for us to consider. As you recall, Jesus was arrested in Gethsemane. He was arrested at night under the cover of darkness. And then after his arrest, Jesus went through a total of 6 trials, 3 religious trials followed by 3 civil trials before he was condemned to die on the cross. As I mentioned in a previous study, Jesus' trials before the religious leaders were completely illegal according to their own rules and their own laws. The religious leaders broke at least 22 of their own laws during the arrest and trial of Jesus. For example, their own laws said a person could not be arrested and taken into custody at night. An arrest must take place during the daytime, in broad daylight. It was forbidden to hold a trial at night, according to their own rules. It was forbidden to hold a trial in a private residence or in secret. According to their own rules, trials had to take place during the daytime. They had to be held in the designated location in the temple, a building known as the Chamber of Hewn Stones. That was their courthouse. Just like we have a courthouse where trials take place, so did they. Trials had to be open to the public. They couldn't be secret. Not only that, their rules required that there be at least 24 hours between the trial and the verdict, so that the judges had time to pray and fast and seek the Lord for wisdom. So there had to be a time period between the trial and the verdict. If someone was found guilty, there had to be at least 3 days between the verdict and the issuing of the sentence. The religious leaders violated all these rules and more. They arrested Jesus and condemned him to die, and one night, at nighttime, in just a matter of a few hours. Now, John's Gospel in John chapter 11 tells us that the religious leaders had met together sometime previous to this Passover to discuss what they should do with Jesus. If you're taking notes, John chapter 11, verse 47 tells us, "The chief priests and the Pharisees gathered a council and said, 'What shall we do? For this man works many signs,'" messianic signs. "'If we let him alone like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and the nation.'" That's why they wanted to kill Jesus, because they were worried his popularity among the people, the common folk, would cause them to lose their place, to lose their status and their position at the top of Jewish society. Jesus threatened their position, and so they wanted to kill him. And hopefully by now in our study of Matthew, it has become clear to you that the religious leaders were corrupt leaders. They were just corrupt through and through. They served themselves. They didn't really serve God. It provided a lifestyle for them. Jesus, remember, called the religious leaders hypocrites, actors, phonies. He said they do all their works to be seen by men because they love the praise of men more than the praise of God. Jesus said of these religious leaders, they love the place of honor at banquets and the best seats in the synagogue and to be greeted by people and the marketplace. They ate all that up. And they fear they may lose their place at the top of society because of the growing popularity of Jesus, and so they began to plot how they might kill him. You know, during our study of the Gospel of Matthew, several of you have asked the question, how could the religious leaders not see that Jesus is their Messiah promised in the Old Testament scriptures? It's so obvious. How did they miss it? Well, listen, they didn't miss it. They didn't miss it. They know that Jesus is the promised Messiah, but they rejected him. John's gospel says that Jesus came unto his own, and his own received him not. Isaiah 53 says he was despised and rejected by men. It goes on in Isaiah 53 to say, we hid our faces from him and did not esteem him. That's what the religious leaders did. The New Living Translation says, we looked the other way and we didn't care. You know, there are many people today that know who Jesus is. They know what the Bible says about him. They know Jesus is the only way of salvation. They know the truth, but they have rejected him. They've looked the other way, and they don't care. Like the religious leaders, they do not want to receive Jesus Christ because they may lose their lifestyle. Following Jesus may cost them the little place that they have created for themselves in this world, whatever status they think they have. What did Jesus say? Whoever seeks to save his life will what? Will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. The religious leaders rejected Jesus because they wanted to save the life they had created for themselves, but they're going to lose it ultimately. They're going to lose that status a few years from this point, and they're going to lose their soul for all eternity. Be cast into hell.